Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to our subscribers, whether you're a long-term subscriber or a new subscriber. Lovely to have you with us. So today we're going to be making an 80th birthday card. Now this is a commission card and it's for a lovely lady called Louisa, and she'll be 80 on the 1st of September. And her daughter's requested a card with her, not her name on it, but just the 80. She wants it to say 80 today. So we're going to make a slightly bigger than normal card. We are going to make an 8 by 5.5, and it'll be fairly flat, and you can make it even flatter than the one we're going to make today, and I'll show you what I mean by that as we go along. So it will go into an envelope. Now, when I turn it over, this is actually the back. I've already made a little bit of a start. And the reason I've already made a little bit of a start was because I was chatting away, putting the glue on, thought I would press the record button, and I hadn't. And I couldn't get this off without tearing it. So you will need a mat. This is a glitter mat of 7.5 by 5 inches. And all of the measurements will be in the description box below. Now this is a very thin glitter paper. It's a non-shed paper, so when you put your fingers over it, you don't get glitter everywhere. And it's from an A4 pad, glitter pad or glitter paper pad from The Works. And I will link that in the description box below. So hopefully we won't have any more mishaps and we'll carry on. So we're going to be using our nesting dies. We're returning to our nesting dies for our final series. And we're going to be returning to the first set that we used on the first project, which was the circular dies. But we're going to use them in a completely different way, just to show you how versatile these fantastic nesting sets are. So we are going to use the circles to make the number 80. So to make the 8, you will need 2 circle dies, one inside the other, so that when you cut them out, you have a frame and a solid piece that falls out of the middle. Just discard the solid piece, you don't need that. And for that, you will need 2 dies that measure 2.5 diameter. You will also need 2 dies that measure 1.5 diameter, and that's for your outer and inner. And you will need to cut both of those twice. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So you place the inner die, the smaller die, in the centre, cut them out. This is the bottom half of our number 8. And on the back, I have got some foam pads, which I've cut in half. And what I did with these can bend. You can cut little notches into them, but I'll give you a hint, you don't have to. They do bend quite easily. Or you could do little squares and pop them all the way around, but I found it sits better if you do it like this. So we're going to pop that down there like that, and it will sit on quite nicely. I've taken all the backing tape off of all of my dies so that you don't have to sit there watching me do that. And I've done exactly the same to the other one, which is exactly the same measurements that I gave you. So it's 2.5 and 1.5, and you sit the 1.5 inside the 2.5 and cut it out. And this time we're going to line that up so that they sit on top of each other, but don't overlap it coming down. Just sit it on top and push it down firmly. This has also got foam pads on it. And there you have your number 8. Now, to make the 0, you will need to cut 1 die of each. And your largest die is 4 inches in diameter. And your smallest die is 3.25. And again, you sit one inside the other and cut them out together. And again, I've got foam pads on the back, and we're going to put that down there like that. And there you have your number 80. Now that was really easy, wasn't it? And it's so effective. So if you haven't got these huge number dies, and not everybody has, I certainly haven't. So what I do, if I need a number die, a big number die, I use my nesting dies. You can also use the circle dies to make a number 3. So you just cut sections out of it there. So we'll do that another time. But if you want a complete number die system with your nesting dies, pop me a comment and I'll show you how we do it from 1 right up to 0. So, or 0 up to 9, whichever way you like to put it. I always say 1 to 0 because it's easier. And that's the way I was taught. But some people say 0 to 9, but whatever you want. If that's what you'd like, if you'd like a series of giant numbers with your nesting dies, pop me a comment and I'll do a series. We'll do perhaps one a day and we'll go right through. And so the lady wanted 80 today. So I've just cut a smaller piece of card and I've written the word today with a gold pen to match this. On the back, I have some double-sided tape. Now, if you're using glitter paper, if you don't want to use glitter paper, you don't have to. You can use ordinary plain paper. But if you do use glitter paper, don't rely on glue because many glues won't stick to glitter paper. So use your tapes because it's a lot easier. Now, if you wanted to, you can leave it like that. Now, I know she said she wanted it fairly clean and simple, but to me, that's a bit too, even for me, that's a bit too clean and simple. So what I've done, she said she didn't want flowers on it because apparently Mum doesn't like flowers. Her mum doesn't like flowers on cards. She prefers to see the real ones in the garden, which is fair enough. Mind you, if she looked in my garden, all she'd see is brambles and grass, but there you go. So that's because I'm not a gardener. So she said, no, she said she didn't mind, Mum wouldn't mind a little bit of detail, but please don't put flowers on it. I thought that's fair enough. So I'll show you what I've done. I've got some bling, which coordinates with the colour scheme. And what I've done is I've used the smallest ones. These were in a pack of various sizes within the same pack. And what I've done, I've cut it in an L shape so that there's 3 on one side and 3 on the other. And I've kept it on the acetate. And the reason I've kept it on the acetate is because it will keep it in line and it will make it easier to stick it onto our card. So I am going to use, if I've got it out, I have, wonderful. Again, I'm not going to risk using glue because glue doesn't, even this thin paper, although it's glitter paper, it's still quite rough. And so not all glues will stick to it. So I'm using my red runner tape. You can use red liner tape if you want to. You could try the ordinary double-sided tape, but I've not tried that. But if you're going to do that and you haven't got red runner tape, I would strongly suggest you use your red liner tape if you've got any. I haven't, which is why I'm using this. I've run out of my red runner tape. But what I'm actually going to do is put it along there because it's a bit thin. Pick it up with your finger and stick it down like that. And because it's on acetate, because the bling is on acetate, you will not see it. So we're going to very quickly do that in all 4 corners. I'm just going to pop it on there because it's easier than trying to put it on these because they're so small and a little bit fiddly. So, oops, sometimes they still come off, but never mind. So we're going to stick that one up there. So if I just go back slightly, hopefully it'll stop my table from wobbling. So I'll just stick one up there. Whoops. Yes, it doesn't make it much less fiddly doing it this way, I have to say. So just lay it down at one edge and push it down. And we will do very quickly, well, as quickly as we can anyway. One in the other corner, pop some tape on there, pick it up. And it's a hot day today, so glue will dry much too quick, and it's going to be even hotter by the end of the week. Here in our little corner of the UK, they're saying that by Sunday it's going to be up to 30 degrees. I thought, oh boy. So that's going to be hot. So today it does feel that hot. It's quite hot out there today, but never mind, we've got there. So we've got our 80th birthday card, which says 80 today, and there is a little bit where I didn't get the tape right into the corner. We're going to just pop some sticky tape and just stick that down. So you can do that, go around and check your edges and use some, although the back part of this is ordinary plain paper, so it will stick with glue, but the glitter side probably won't unless you use hot glue. But I would use tape just to guarantee that it sticks. I've never had any problem sticking anything to glitter paper or glitter card with tape, so I would suggest that you stick with your tapes. So there you go, guys. There is our 80th birthday card that says 80 today. and we used our circle nesting dies to make the 80. And all of the information you need will be in the description box below, as I said at the beginning. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Take care, everybody. And until next time, hopefully we'll be back on Friday. I know Fridays have been a bit of a problem for me lately. I didn't manage to do one last Friday. But hopefully everything's back on track now. And we should be back to our regular schedule, I hope. So all being well, there will be another video for you on Friday. So until then, enjoy the rest of the week. Take care, everybody. Have fun. And as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.